Tai Chi, being a discipline, there are rules. We learned 3 to 5 major stances. We said the best thing to do is to do a T stance by putting our right foot on a cross-section of a line of a tile. At the mid or cross-section of that line, we put our left foot. We created a capital T. This is called a T stance. This is not a T stance because I'm straight up. I have 2 weighted feet. When I have 2 weighted feet and I try to walk, I can't, I stumble. So what do I have to do? Tai Chi says that you can only move if you have a foot that's weightless. So this is the weightless foot, whereas the right foot now is the grounded or holding all your weight and obeying gravity. This is where your energy is stored. This is a T stance. We then went on to say we needed to next create an L stance, the capital letter L. In the capital letter L, there are 2 ways of looking at it. You can come out and to the side and create a upside down L, okay? I'll do it with me, out and to the side, okay? So you see that you are drawing the capital L, but we only want to do it in one step or one motion. Therefore, our left heel has to come here because that's where you ended it when you drew your L. When you create an L stance, the energy still remains on the right foot. Nothing has been generated, no energy has been generated. All we're doing is placing it out here. But what we eventually want to do after a T stance and an L stance is a bow stance. So to do a bow stance, we have to move the energy that's planted in our right or back foot from the sole to the ankle, to the leg, to the knee, to the thigh, to the waist, to the hips, through our chest, through our shoulders, and then firm down on the front foot. At this position, you created a bow stance. The bow in the front, the arrow in the back. Do not forget that the arrow in the back is never locked. Everybody lock it? No, the energy then locks within your joint. Therefore, you need to keep your Tai Chi posture and relax that back knee. The knee at this point of the left foot never goes beyond the toe. If you do that, what happens? Let's do it. Slowly, you put your knee beyond your left toe. You saw that your Tai Chi posture then moved forward and your vertical dantian points went with you. Therefore, you need to line up the knee with the toe. Okay, so we covered T stance, L stance, bow stance. Now, in order to take care of the other side, because you remember that Tai Chi is symmetrical, we need to do 2 or 3 maneuvers. In a bow stance, we need to sit back and sit down on an imaginary stool. Come forward on a bow stance and shift your weight or move your body back so that your weight now is on the back leg. Therefore, when you do that, to make it logical, the left foot now comes to its heel. So here again, if you could come to me and lift my left foot, at that instance, I should have it weightless. The weightless foot now has its turn to move because that's the only foot that's insubstantial to help us with safety. Therefore, it can turn on a twist step on its heel. So move back to that line to make sure that we're at the bulletin board. You firm down the left foot to help you keep balance, obeying gravity. This foot now can be weightless. The right foot can be weightless. Therefore, it can create a T. And why am I putting my hands here? Because I feel that I need the balance. So you can see right away that, yeah, it's okay to make letters and fancy stuff with your feet, But if your body is not helping you, or your upper body is not helping your lower body, something's going to give way. Something's going to cause an accident. So in this position now, I got back to the letter T. I'm taking care of my symmetry. I'm rooting down on my left because that's where my energy is. My right foot now is weightless. Therefore, my right foot can take an L stance. We said that we could draw it out, but we wanted to do it in one motion. Therefore, we're going to put our heel out here. Then the energy is going to move through our system. We're going to adjust that back foot to a 45 degrees, and we're now in a bow stance. From a bow stance, we need to sit down and we need to sit back, but not throw our back back. We're going to do a twist step because that's the insubstantial. Rooting down to store energy and obey gravity. Weightless foot creates a T. And I'm going to put my hand on my waist. I'm going to be safe. I want to be grounded. I want to use my upper body in a way to keep me safer. T stance, out and to the side, L. Turn the hips and waist, move that energy. Adjust the back foot to a 45-degree bow stance. Sit back, sit down on that imaginary stool. Twist step, root down for gravity. T stance, out on an L. Move the energy, turn the hips and waist because that axle can spin. Bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, twist step, T stance, L stance, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, twist step, T stance, L stance, turn the hips and waist, bow stance. Okay, this time I'm going to do a self-check, okay, so make it the best you know how. Sit back, sit down, pivot, twist step, T stance. Out and to the side is an L stance. Out and to the side, L, turn the hips and waist, adjust the back foot, bow stance. Now, the self-evaluation or check is to drag your left or front foot back, but don't do it yet. But when you drag it back, you stop at the alignment of your back foot, and there should be a gap. Do not change that gap. The gap is good. So here's what we're going to do, and we're only taking care of ourselves. Drag the left foot back, straight back. Stop at your other foot and look at your feet. You can come out of Tai Chi posture and say, do I have a space between the 2 feet? Okay, there should be a space. If there's not a big space, you're going to hurt your knees. So how are we going to help yourselves to do that? I think everybody needs a little bit of help. So we're going to get back to as we do this, we're kind of gravitating to the back, so we kind of want to adjust where we're standing, okay? So here's how you can rectify how your feet stance will end up. It's the L stance that needs help. We know the T. To do an L correctly, we need to come out and to the side. How with your hand? Out and to the side. Again, out and to the side. On our heel in one motion. Therefore, it has to come here. Where? It has to come here. Out and to the side. Not just out, it has to come to the side or outside, okay? So let's see with our left heel where it can go. It can go out and to the side. And out to the side, you can readily see that if you drag your left or front foot back, there will be that gap we need. We need to establish that gap. I cannot teach you anything else if we can't get that, okay? So here's the deal, okay? Here's my T stance. Root it down, not this way, root it down, because I'm storing my energy. I can only move a weightless foot. We said we needed to come out and to the side. but we need to establish that gap. Therefore, we cannot just come out and slightly to the side. We need to come out and to a good comfortable stance. So when we come out and to the side, it's here. It is not here. Because definitely I will clash with that back foot. I want that clearance. I want the space. Where's that space and where's that clearance that I'm talking about? Watch what I'm doing. I do a T stance. I do an L stance. When I drag my foot back, I have this gap. Okay? So first establish the gap and then understand why it's important. Okay? So you're going to listen, you're going to watch. This is a T stance. This is an out and to the side. Energy is here. I move the energy through my system, and I turn my hips and waist, and I flatten out on a bow stance. I made that adjustment of a 45. If I don't have the space big enough and I turn my hips and waist, my knee is going to be stressed. Watch. I don't have that space that I need. I can turn my hips and waist, but my knee is sort of frozen in there. I don't have that wiggle room or that semicircle that I need to sweep across comfortably. I am jammed up. I'm locked. I don't know what to do with my body, but ruin my body and ruin my knees and force something that's not good. Okay? So, yeah, it sounds scary, like, I don't want to deal with this. But to deal with it is important because you want to save what you have. You want them healthier, okay? So that's very a requirement, okay? You have to know that, okay? How many get it? Yeah, but you can't just get it mentally and visually. You've got to tell your body and teach your body and train your body.
This step is a good opportunity to learn the concept of substantial. And substantial means that's the support that you're going to have principally for your whole body. And it varies in the steps and positions from what you're doing. Some of them are 90% plus, 10% or less. Some are 60-40, as in the bow, it's a 60-40 or 7-30. Everything is not quite here. You're not like this. You are like this. But in this case, in the T-step, a common name for the T-step is an empty step. That is, this is empty. Nothing here. Everything's here. And the Tai Chi rule is you do not move the substantial foot. Okay? Otherwise, what happens is a thing called double-footed. You're in no man's land. You do not have stability. So, substantial from here. Step out, and as you step out, just a subtle opening of the hip, not just, okay? Turning a little bit, and that makes all the difference in the world. But as you go out, this guy is holding the fort. It's not, okay? Substantial is substantial. You don't move until you, and then this establishes itself. This becomes substantial, and then this is insubstantial, it can move. It just happens that it's not going to be the 90-10% or 99-1% relationship. It's a different step now. You come this way, and then this is 30. I mean, this is 60 to 70%, and this is 30. That just happens to be how the bow step is. But still, this becomes substantial. And only when this comes pretty substantial do you adjust from this position to this position. Okay? So just, and take the time. Take the time. You're going from this position, take the time, sit, just keep thinking, sit. So you should be able to practice. Drop down on your knee and turn your hip. It's okay so long as you do your knee this way, whether you go up or down, okay? You don't want to be showing that you are, but say if you see me doing this, what happened? My knee went down, but my head didn't bob up and down. That's another challenge, but still, you're bending your knee in the right way, you're not torquing. Like if, as Lucille says, if you're just this way, then you're torquing your knee. You don't want to do that. That's not good for your knee. And the object is to direct the force from this direction to that direction. So you can't square your shoulders except if you're like this. And you say, I didn't bend my legs, I didn't torque my knees, but you're sort of awkward, you're not stable. Versus you're here, out. Everything is stable because I can now turn full and I adjust and I'm straight in that direction. So just remember, substantial means substantial. And learn which steps it means 90 and 10% or less, and which ones are 7/30 or which ones are even 50/50.
Okay, let's practice, okay? So, yes, we need parameters, yes, we need rules, but then we have to then try it out and then see how the rules apply and see where we can be a little stricter with ourselves, okay? Lay the platform, okay? This time we're gonna use some hands because I noticed that when my hands were just dangling, they were kind of counter to what I really wanted to establish. So we need to kind of stabilize them, put them down here. The only problem with this being here is some people tend to rise with their shoulder because you just want to drop it down and keep it just kind of weighted down, okay? So not really, they're centering ourselves, but not really doing much other than stabilizing, okay? T stance, storing that energy. Out and to the side, L. Turn the hips and waist, flatten down, bow stance, adjust the back foot. Sit back, sit down on that imaginary stool, twist step, root down, create your T, L stance, turn the hips and waist, adjust the back foot, flatten down all together, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, T, L, turn the hips and waist, bow. All right, then drag that left front foot back, and I think you've got it, okay? So it's better. Okay, so take that piece and practice, all right?